Hello.
Welcome
Hello,
back.
hello, hello. All right. My name's Caleb,
I'm Owen.
and this is KO Productions. It's
Episode 3.
episode 3. Movies and hot takes.
Today's
That's
topic.
that's what we decided to do. We both wanted to try maybe strive a little bit, I guess, away from
Superheroes.
superheroes and stuff like that. Maybe delve a little bit into other stuff. So, hope you guys have all been doing well. For anyone who's watching this, if you like this, please hit a like button and subscribe. It would go very far, and we would appreciate it. And if you have any recommendations on what we should talk about, we cover football, movie news, movies, comics,
Just about everything.
D&D, just about everything. We're working on some D&D stuff right now, but yeah. So I guess let's just jump into it.
Top
Uh,
5 movies, right?
yeah, let's not waste the audience's time
I know they're
further.
dying to hear our
And
opinions.
the two viewers, my mom and my dad,
Real.
they don't even watch this. They don't give a shit about me.
I don't think my parents watch it either.
Let's keep that going.
Yep.
We're failures.
Agreed.
All right. All right. You want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Start it with honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
He's whipping the phone out of his
That's
ass.
fair. I gotta whip the phone out.
Pussy.
So, do you want me to do both my honorable mentions, or do you want to bounce off each other?
Bounce off each other.
Okay, that works.
We didn't rehearse this. We only had 15 minutes to come up with this, so.
Nope. So my first honorable mention, I have the first Avengers movie.
First Avengers movie.
First
all right.
Avengers movie.
Why? How come?
It's what started my real love for Marvel. I have very fond memories of seeing it in the theaters. It's filled with awesome moments. You got like shit with the Hulk, probably the best stuff that you have with the Hulk in the entire MCU.
Not saying
The
much.
Soundgarden song at the end also is something to mention. I like that song.
All right,
It's an honorable mention. I don't want to give away too much.
that's fair. My honorable mention, first one going up is Hook. I watched it a lot as a little kid. I remember when I was in kindergarten, uh, where I lived at the time, there was not a lot to do. And so my mom used to put on Peter Pan. Then I remember I found a VHS, although those practically don't exist anymore.
My grandma still has one.
Yeah, of Hook, and I remember watching that, and it used to be okay, but in hindsight, upon rewatching it not too long ago, probably like a year or two ago, it's just hitting as a adult now. It really hits because it's like, wow. As you grow older, you lose a lot of your childhood, and you pay attention to it makes you really want to pay attention to the little things, and remind yourself that
You got to grow up.
gotta grow up, but you also gotta keep that youthful energy.
That's a good one. I do like Hook.
I also like Steven Spielberg and that whole set.
Steven Spielberg is. I low key wish I lived where the Lost Boys lived. That looked like a cool
Neverland.
place. Yeah, like their hideout,
That's fair.
skating rinks, eating like whatever the hell they ate.
Just pies, marine pies.
It looked like Crayola.
It
It's
just
like
looked
melted
good.
Crayola crayons.
That's probably why I liked the movie, because I was a kid and I liked eating crayons.
All right,
All right,
I eat crayons too.
Your honorable mention.
My second honorable mention is Mask of the Phantasm. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
How come?
That is like, in my honest opinion, that is the movie that gives you everything you want in a Batman.
All right.
It gives you his compassion, his somewhat of his origin, a good villain, a new villain, and I I'm a sucker for Kevin Conroy. I love his interpretation of Batman. And I think that is
Rest in peace.
rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. You were the goat. You would have loved the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. I had to.
Um,
But yeah, just that's like when people say like who's the best Batman or whatever. I know it's kind of like cheap to say, but Kevin Conroy is the best Batman. That is the best Batman movie.
fair enough. Is I know we said we wouldn't go into comics. Phantasm, does he ever appear in any comics?
He had, or well, kind of spoilers. I guess it's an old ass movie. She appeared in like a tie-in for the animated series run of the comics, like way back in the '90s. I don't think, to my knowledge, I don't know if she showed up again or not.
Dang.
So, but I mean,
Right.
what can you do?
My next honorable mention, I guess. We only decided on 2 because I feel like if we did more than that, it wouldn't really even be a top 5.
I could have had top. I could have done like
top
20.
Low-key.
Yeah, 40.
Yeah, we ain't gonna sit here and do all that.
No, yeah, that's way too much
no one's
yapping.
doing that. Inglourious Bastards, like Quentin Tarantino.
Okay. I've never seen it.
I'm a sucker for war movies. And Huck, a friend of ours, recommended it to me because I think he knows we kind of have the same level. Like we both like war movies. I was thinking about putting Fury up there, which I liked. Hacksaw Ridge, which is also good. But I recently watched Inglourious Bastards, and probably my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And also, just in general, just like the way Quentin weaves, he can write like 3 to 4 plot threads at once, and just combine them all at the end. I really like the fact that like Brad Pitt is pretty funny in it. You know, he tells the guys to. There's like a little bit of dark humor in there. He kind of says like, for every Nazi I think they kill, you have to scalp a person's head.
Oh, I remember you showing that clip.
And it was a lot. All the characters were lovable.
Huck showed you that movie?
Huh?
Huck showed you that movie?
He's the one who recommended it to me. But it was just a good time.
You recommend?
I recommend. I liked it. It was like I watched it. I didn't really think much of it. I put it on in the background as I was doing laundry one day, and I after like 20 minutes sitting there, the opening scene was what really gets me.
Like in the feels or like pumped? Like in your feels or like pumped?
Like on the edge of my seat.
Okay.
You'd have to watch it, but I forget the dude's name. But he was the
Christoph Waltz.
Yes, great actor. He was called Did
he get an award for that movie?
I'm not sure, but he was a hunter, and he hunted down, and he was a Nazi like person hunting down Jews and stuff, and it was on the edge of your seat because it was actually it gave like almost a realistic take of like what Jewish people had to go through back then and stuff, and how scary it was. Yeah.
I might have to watch that movie.
Guess we're gonna go to top 5.
Top 5.
We generally kind of know, I would say, don't you think, about what each other likes, but we also, I think, well, you mentioned it that not too long ago, earlier today, that our top 5 kind of switches.
I mean, mine's always switching because like I'm just constantly seeing better movies than I thought.
Or rewatching something and going
rewatching and be like, that could be a little bit higher.
That's all right. And your first go.
My number 5, coincidentally enough, is Quentin Tarantino's Django. That is my favorite Western movie. I love Jamie Foxx in that. His best role, in my opinion. I am not a big. So that's like my only thing with Quentin Tarantino is like he's kind of a weird director. All the stuff that he does with like feet and whatnot. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Kind of off topic, but other than that, it's my favorite Western movie. It has the ending alone, like the last like 30-ish minutes are like I hate to say this, peak cinema. It's peak.
That is cinema.
That is cinema. But yeah, favorite Western. Jamie Foxx is a badass. Christoph Waltz is also in that movie. Yeah, and Leonardo DiCaprio, who is one of my favorite actors of all time.
I agree.
So you're number 5.
I have not seen that movie.
Really? I thought you watched it with me.
I watched the last 30 minutes because we all were hanging out one day and I came downstairs a little bit later because I do believe I was getting off work. And you guys there was only 30 minutes left of the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I need to go rewatch it, but it looked good.
You watched the good parts.
I remember like some house blowing up and like Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh man, I forgot about Samuel L. Jackson
yelling at Jamie Foxx's character. But all right, I had to write this down on my computer. Sorry. My number 5. You know what I'm gonna say?
I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm kind of
Batman Under the Red Hood.
Ooh, okay.
To me, just like how Mask of Phantasm is your which that's a movie I need to watch. The Batman Under the Red Hood is just, I remember sitting down in like 6th grade because I had no homework to do that one day, and I sat down around 8 o'clock, and I didn't watch Batman the animated series or anything back then, or even just Justice League cartoon. So Batman was really a big superhero for me back then. But I watched the first like 30 minutes of that movie. Very next day I woke up, I'd set an alarm for like 5 o'clock in the morning so I could just finish the rest of it. It was that damn good. And it's still that damn good today. The fact, everything I want out of Batman, he's cold and ruthless, but at the same time, you can see that he's restless. Like having, I think Jason literally says it. Like, it gave me, well, first off, sorry, I'm going off the rails here. It gave me an introspective into the fact that there are more Robins. And I used to think back then, and it wasn't until even really recently, with like reading Kyle Rayner and like learning about Cassandra Cain and stuff, I used to think legacy characters were dumb because I was like, what? Oh, all had the same power set. No, every single character is unique. Jason is completely different from Dick, who's completely different from Damian, who's completely different from Tim Drake. Gave me an introspective into Jason Todd, and Jason Todd's like one of my favorite Robins. I just thought the way Kevin Conroy voiced the character with Mark Hamill's Joker, it was brutal, didn't hold back, and I really liked the fact that like Batman had a character arc. It seems like a lot nowadays Batman kind of just goes through his same rogue gallery, pick and choose, and at the end of the day nothing really happens. But in this, he chose, it actually went into the depths of why he chooses not to kill. Having to face a person you basically raised coming back to haunt you, and they know you better, almost a little bit better than you know yourself. Like he knows which wires and which knives to cut. He's literally taking care of gangs but also killing at the same time.
He's doing it his way.
And it's just Red Hood suit's so badass.
Jensen Ackles, perfect Red Hood interpretation.
Yeah. So that's my 5th movie.
Shit.
Good fight scenes too.
Good fight scenes.
4th.
Yeah. Okay, I know we talk about how like crime thrillers aren't really our thing. We're not big on crime movies.
Can I say?
What are you gonna say?
Heat.
No. Close. The Departed.
Never seen it.
The Departed was, I remember I was on a Leonardo DiCaprio kick after I watched The Great Gatsby in like 10th grade or whenever. When do you read The Great Gatsby in high school?
I read it in 11th.
Was it
I
11th?
watched it in 11th
Then it might
grade.
have been. It might have been my junior
Good
year.
movie, honestly.
Really good movie.
I think if
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire was in it,
That's a good movie.
that's the only thing. Well, sorry, not to cut you off.
No,
You
you're
go
good.
ahead.
You're good. What were you
Just
gonna say?
was it called Brothers? The war movie he was in?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
Yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Other
movie.
than that, other than Spider-Man, Brothers, and Great Gatsby is anything else I know him in. But
He
was
wasn't.
good.
I mean, he hasn't been in a lot that I've watched that I enjoyed. But
Go ahead.
yeah, I was on a Leonardo DiCaprio kick. Netflix recommended The Departed. It's
Mhm.
got Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and Jack Nicholson.
Mhm.
Um, such a fucking like edge of your seat movie. Like you're constantly like, I don't want to give away too much, but it's basically like an undercover cop story trying to bust this big drug ring. But there's a mole in the cop on the cop side of it. So the mole for the cops is also being hunted by the mole within the cops.
Mhm.
It's a little complicated. Great ass movie. I love Jack Nicholson. I have never seen The Shining. I've heard that's
Really?
no, I have not. I've heard that's his like best movie. I liked him as Joker, Jack Nicholson. Um, but yeah, overall, very good, edge of your seat, good Leonardo DiCaprio performance. I think I can't remember. I think maybe Al Pacino was in that movie too.
Good actor.
Good actor, and Robert De Niro. But yeah, not the when you mention Heat, that's also like a really good movie, and I recommend that to anybody.
Before, when you said Leonardo DiCaprio, I thought you were going to go ahead, and go ahead and say the Mark Ruffalo Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Oh, that's a good one. The why am I fucking blanking on this?
Directed by Martin Scorsese, I think.
Such a good. That's another really good fucking movie. Is that the no? It's not the Lighthouse. I don't remember.
I guess, is that all you want to say for
Yeah, that's all I got. Number
I
4,
think that's in my watch list.
The Departed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Number
you need to
4
watch
for
it.
me. Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington. I recently just watched it. I watched it a million times in high school
Watched it a lot in school.
but wow. I think that's one of Denzel Washington's strongest performances. It highlights a lot of what happened in the 1960s with the racial wars and stuff going on.
It's got a lot of heart to it.
Divide. It does have a lot of heart. I think it was actually Ryan Gosling's first movie, which I totally forgot that he was kind of like in there, and he was even like he was just part of a supporting cast. I think he had like 2 or 3 lines, but
When did that movie come out?
2000,
Oh my god, was that before The Notebook?
I think so,
Oh wow.
something like that. But overall, just great heart, great football story. I I love the montage when they're all training, and one of the greatest scenes of all time, I think, to me, is when when they're complaining. It's their like last day of training, I think, and Denzel wakes them all up at like 4 o'clock, and he goes jogging with them, and they go to like Gettysburg or Antietam. It's one of the big two, and he's like, this is a war that's been being fought, and it still hasn't been done within like 100 years. But you guys could go out there and show them that, like, for a football team, no matter what color you are, you can get along with your peers, and you can win.
I need to rewatch that movie. I don't think I've watched it in a while.
It was just, and then the death at the end was sad. I already forget the name,
I have no idea who dies. I haven't seen it in forever.
but it was I forgot the name, but that guy started out as probably one of the most racist people on the team, and he turned out to have a heart. And his friend on the team, was also racist, and he ended up changing his heart and kicking that other guy off the team. And it was just it's full of heart. I think it's one of Denzel's most underrated performances. Uh, and overall, I just think it's a great movie. I like football, so what else more can a man say?
That and like The Blind Side are the only like football movies that I think of that are like
You
at
know
all
what?
really.
We Are Marshall's pretty good too.
I've never heard of that one. Good.
Third,
Third. My third movie. I don't know if you've seen this. Maybe you've seen this one. I feel like if you haven't seen this one, I'm gonna kill you. Rocky.
what do you think I'm gonna say?
Have you seen it?
I've seen bits. I've seen bits and parts of it on. I know it's Sylvester Stallone
Yeah, the boxing
wrestler
movie.
movie. Yeah, and
Um,
he read it himself. The story behind it's kind of
mhm.
like powerful.
The first movie is definitely aged. Like you can tell, like, because it was the '70s, so like there's not. I mean, I could put any of the movies in my top five, but I'm just putting the original because that's where it started.
Hmm.
Um, I am a sucker for an underdog story. Um, Probably like my favorite type of story element that there could be.
Real.
Cars One, for example, underdog. I fuck with that. I fuck with underdogs. Um, and the story behind the movie Rocky is also pretty powerful with like Sylvester Stallone basically not having like a dime to his name and living on the streets with like his dog, and he had to sell or had to give up his dog and wrote this script and sold it to a company and was like, I think he said like, I'll sell you, I'll give you this script, you got to give me a percentage of the money that it makes, and I want to star in it. And a lot of the people that he went to wouldn't let him star in it because he talks like this and he really talks like this. But he got it done. He made six Rocky movies and then three Creed movies.
Rambo. You mean
Rambo too.
movies? Yeah.
Rambo movies are goated. But yeah, I'm a sucker for an underdog story, and every time Rocky's in the ring, it makes me want to like every time I watch a Rocky movie, I want to like pick up boxing. So, and go Philly.
I have a
Movies
set
take
of
place in Philly.
I have a set of boxing gloves. I need to get using.
Let's just not do this and let's just start a boxing career
Maybe we'll make it.
after this beer, though. So, your number three?
My number three, classic, probably on everyone's list, Forrest Gump.
Mm.
The first time I watched it, actually, and this is when I was, just call me stupid, I didn't really think much of it, and I was like, I don't really see how special this movie is, but rewatching it not too long ago, two scenes in there that are tear jerkers. Sorry,
Tearjerkers.
jerking it straight,
Jorking it.
jorking it. Yes, tear jerkers. When he says to his son, "Is he like me?" And then at the end, the one that kills me the most, when he sets Jenny down and buries her grave underneath the tree where they used to talk at when they were in.
And he's talking to her.
And everyone is like, "Oh, Jenny's Jenny's a hoe or whatever."
Sleeps around.
And like the movie's just laughable and stuff and everything. To me, if you actually rewatch the movie and with like pay attention to it, every single person that Forrest comes to meet is broken in some way. And by the end, for the most part, they come out better.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan has probably one of the best redemption arcs ever. He didn't in the movie, didn't he like help start Apple at the end of it or something? He said he met a person named Bill Gates or something like that.
Maybe he did. I need to watch it again. Bubba.
Bubba, Jenny, just like all these characters are broken in some way, shape, or form, but Forrest doesn't really change, but he helps them in different ways, um, not even realizing it sometimes. And it's just, it's not only is it like a period piece from like everything that happens from like, oh, I don't know, like the '60s to like early 2000s or something
I
like
was gonna
that.
say because he fights in Vietnam.
Yeah, from like the '60s, '70s to the early 2000, like late 1990s. It's in the very and like I think the very first 10 minutes he meets Elvis. Do you remember
Yeah,
that? He teaches
he
Elvis,
teaches
and
Elvis how to dance.
he does football. He runs a long mile. It's just like great fiction story based on someone's life where you just it's just I'm a sucker, just like you're a sucker for underdog stories. I'm a sucker for just overall life dramas where people grow up and change, or great sporting characters that change around them and everything. It's just like Remember the Titans, life drama and stuff like that.
I
It's
see a pattern.
period piece. It's just I dig that type of stuff, and just the scenes where it's like Jenny. It's just so sad that it wasn't until I think Jenny ended up having cancer,
Yeah,
and it wasn't. And oh, another kind of tearjerker is when Forrest. I'm gonna keep on rambling on about how good this movie is. So when um I'm gonna stop right here is when Forrest has Jenny's dad's home tore down
yeah.
because she was abused. But overall great performances. Tom Hanks is an MVP, and
I cry at the end of that movie every time.
yeah, I think I showed it to my girlfriend. Shout out Mallory, and because she's more of a TV show person, and um, I showed it to her, and I think it was honestly the first time she saw me cry. Because at the end, when Jenny and everything, she was like, "Why are you crying?" She thought the movie was sad, but it's hard to get her to cry, and I was like, it's just like it's just generally sad. But yeah, um, moving on to
Two,
two.
Forrest Gump.
No way, we're like that.
It's such a. I mean, like I said, I like the movies that I'm putting on here. Like I have a connection with, or they're also movies that I can turn them on and rewatch them and enjoy it every time. Because I mean, some of these movies that I put on here might not be critically well received. But what matters is that I enjoy the movies.
No, it
And
doesn't. Fuck you.
all right, I enjoy Forrest Gump. I cry every time at the ending. I've like tried not to, but every time at the end, like I'm just brought to tears. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but it's just such an emotional movie. And like you said, it's also fun to watch this fictional guy, Tom Hanks, who talks like this, move through all these different events and like in a fictional way, like like oh, this guy taught him how to taught Elvis how to dance, and like he fought in Vietnam, stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, and I like Tom Hanks as an actor. Um, I liked him in A Man Named Otto, or A Man Called Otto, in Toy Story, obviously. And I think Forrest Gump is his best movie. And yeah, just really, you covered all the bases basically with Forrest
It's
Gump.
a good
It's a
movie.
good ass movie.
Another one. Can we say, since I guess this is basically both on our top five? What's your favorite scene from that movie?
From Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
Um, either when
favorite
he,
same favorite moment. I have mine.
you want to go ahead and go with yours?
Yeah,
Actually, well, no. Okay, mine would probably have to be either when he's a little kid and he's run away from the boys and he breaks out of his casts,
powerful moment.
powerful moment, or the ending scene. There's just a lot there for me, and every time I rewatch the movie, I cry. So it's got to be a good ass scene if I cry every time I rewatch it. So
For me, um, it's probably when Bubba dies and he starts the shrimp thing, like Bubba wanted to. That's
shrimp,
also
shrimp gumbo, shrimp stew.
That's powerful scene right there. But what I'm gonna say is a movie that was close to replacing this, and I didn't put on my honorable mentions. Um, but a movie that I would say is almost the same level of feeling, but it didn't. Unlike Forrest Gump, where there's like happy moments and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put this on my list because thinking about it when we were making our list earlier was that Forrest Gump is rewatchable for me. The Iron Claw, good movie,
Sad
but it's
fucking
just
movie.
depressing and so sad. And it's sad that it's actually based on a true story. But that other than Forrest Gump, I was just gonna say Iron Claw is probably the only other movie that's made me cry like over and over and over and over
That's
again.
another movie where like right at the end is where it just like
Hits
hits
you.
you.
Zac Efron deserves a shout out, and all of them,
Shout out to all
all,
brothers out there,
all the
just in
brothers.
general.
But
You're number 2.
number two, How to Train Your Dragon, number one. My favorite, probably my favorite animated movie. I like Shrek, Shrek's there and stuff, memes and everything, but How to Train Your Dragon, just about a boy who has everyone underdog story.
Yeah.
People,
The
his dad
weakling.
doesn't really care. I wouldn't say doesn't care for him, but doesn't think he can do much in life. Or his dad wants him to become like him, be exactly like him, and he has all this pressure and stuff, and he ends up siding with the people that call these dragons an enemy. And just the montage of him learning how Toothless behaves and stuff. And if you notice at the end of the movie, they become one and the same when Hiccup's leg gets hurt and he has to replace his leg with a
Peg.
peg, just like Toothless lost something of his. However, Toothless was there for it and he helped Hiccup, whereas Hiccup was the one who shot him down. But I mean, I could go on and on about that movie, but just
Sequels too aren't terrible either.
How to Train Your Dragon 2, when the dad dies, I cried. That was sad.
And Hiccup becomes a badass too.
He does.
That armor, the flame sword.
You can make a D&D character out of that.
Oh, you totally could. You totally could.
Ranger. But yeah, overall, just my favorite animated movie. I still think the animation holds up a good bit today. Great supporting characters.
Good soundtrack or score.
Yes, the flight. Dun 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 dun. Bum bum bum. Yeah. That, and actually, it's usually, and this can be on unpopular opinions, but I didn't even put it there. Is I don't really care for live action remakes, but the How to Train Your Dragon one is actually one that I'm kind of looking forward and to seeing. Number one,
Shrek 2.
why?
How it is with you with cinema, first of all. Favorite anime movie of all time. I can rewatch it over and over and over again. As a kid, I was a big Shrek kid. I like, according to my parents, I knew like everything about the movies. Like I could sit in front of the TV and know what the next person was gonna say, know all the songs lyric by lyric. My dad collected CDs when I was younger, and he bought the Shrek 2 soundtrack CD. Well, that's Shrek 1.
Oh, my bad.
No, but
See, that
I mean,
shows what I know.
well, I mean, it's Shrek. Like all the songs are banging. But yeah, like I have fond memories of sitting in my dad's car and listening to Shrek 2 I Need a Hero, by the way, is better than the original, in my opinion. That ending scene alone gets me hyped. That's another like
I
Rocky
need a
moment.
hero.
Love that fucking, it's like in my playlist. Like I listen to it while I'm driving and stuff. But yeah, I have fond memories of that movie. innuendo. Like even as an adult, those movies I can watch and pick
Because they
up
have
on
adult
shit.
jokes.
They have
Yeah.
adult jokes.
And you know, can I say something too?
Yeah, go
Sorry, I
ahead.
don't mean to interrupt you. Um, it's where the best character is introduced in the Shrek universe, which is Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots:
Puss
Last
in
Wish is also
Boots.
peak.
The Last Wish was pretty good.
Last Wish is pretty peak. The
And
animation is so good.
Shrek's 5, 6 coming out soon.
5.
5. You go. So keep on going, man.
I mean, yeah, basically like favorite animated movie. I can rewatchability is amazing. The characters are funny. Puss in Boots is funny. Donkey's funny. Um, the music is awesome, and the story too is very not. It's more adult than it is for children.
More mature.
Yeah. Like coming to terms with your appearance, and loving people for who they are, and not like how they look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to exactly describe that, but it's the same reason why I like Ben Grimm. Self acceptance, stories like that. I like those. But yeah, that would be my number one.
My number one. What do you think I'm gonna say?
I don't know if you're gonna go animated again. I have a feeling you might. I'm hoping you don't say a superhero movie, but
No Way Home. Spider-Man: No Way Home. I know it's a popular movie to kind of cringe on or not like or whatever because multiverse and stuff, but for me, it's just not only does it bring back the soul to my childhood with every single Spider-Man being there, but also just everything about it to the memories where all four of us sat there. Quick backstory. We were not all able to go see, so I think we talked about this in our first episode, maybe also in our second episode. We grew up together and we have friends, Caden and Huck, and we all plan on going to see Endgame because the Marvel Cinematic Universe started with basically all of us in like first grade or kindergarten. And then, the years that we were graduating and stuff, it was ending. So we never got to see Endgame. However, we were able to go see Spider-Man No Way Home, which, you know, and that was just crazy. I remember the whole theater experience, but also, um, that movie helped me get through a lot of dark times in my life. Um, just like the whole concept of having to let go of the things you love. Overall, just a Spider-Man movie. Um, what core concept about Spider-Man where he has to let everyone forget who he is, um, and move on. Literally, no one knows who he is anymore. No traces up for him, and yet at the end of the movie, he swings out into the snow with his shiny red and blue suit, going to save the day because that's who he is. And that movie just, I Spider-Man's my favorite. My Spider-Man is my favorite superhero in comics and everything. Um, and I make jokes and everything about like Batman and like how Batman and stuff like that. But and Spider-Man, like, oh, who poor broke and stuff. But at the end of the day, for me, Spider-Man is about someone who suffers like an everyday man, but still goes out to do the best to his ability, as a human and as a superhero. And I try to follow that every day. Um, and so yeah, overall, it's just great. And I think like the entire ending with the coffee shop scene, Andrew getting his redemption, Toby getting to see Doc Ock, and Doc Ock kind of saying like, "It's been a long time since I've seen you," almost talking to the audience and stuff because people grew up. We introduced Matt into the MCU officially, Matt Murdock, and William Defoe's performance in there was straight peak in my opinion. That whole condo fight, the punches felt really real, and the whole ending where we actually got to see like a vicious Spider-Man trying to kill somebody, which was crazy because if you see like the 7 movies he's in with like Civil War, Homecoming, Far From Home, and the Avengers movies and stuff, it's kind of crazy to see the kid from Civil War go to like almost wanting to kill somebody, basically.
Very
Um,
loud.
yeah, growing up, and I think it just fixed everything, every single problem I had wrong with Tom's Spider-Man, letting us get to see Toby one more time, and getting a swan song to Andrew. Uh, so yeah, I know the multiverse stuff is kind of overdone now, but to me, that's just a perfect movie for me. Or obviously I can recognize that it has flaws, but it just hits home for me on every single level. Um, and yeah, that's me. So your number? Are you already said Shrek 2, but yeah. So that's it.